We're still not going to jump into mine at this time.
No. So you go.
That'll come back, won't it? Okay, well.
And Chris Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Played in every single game he could have played in this season. That's what we mentioned before, but yeah, he played in every game.
Your hair reminds me of Chris Hill tonight.
It's thinning a bit.
You get that Chris Hill look. Actually, do you know what? You bears more than a passing resemblance to Chris Hill.
I've grown it out a little bit at the moment. I was looking at my work pass, which was
taken, the size of Chris Hill. I'm about to fit you through the door.
Which was taken 8 years ago.
Right.
My work pass photo, and I was looking at it and I was thinking, God, I've got more forehead now.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's really changed. A touch more weight on and a lot more forehead.
I'm noticing it now in photographs around my eyes. When I smile, I'm noticing wrinkles around my eyes.
Yeah.
Now that's the big one I'm spotting. But before we start, going down,
meandering off
about our own self-esteem, let's. All that remains now in this grand final edition of the Super League pod is for us to wrap up the show. Right, Mark, episode 121 of Super League Pod is in the bag, and we are rapidly approaching the end of the season. Now, between segments, you and I have had a quick discussion about what we're going to do in terms of the Sloppies episode and when that's going to be recorded and go up. So should we talk through that with the nice people first of all?
Yeah, so obviously the SLP Listener Award, the Sloppies, and the SLP Dream Team, we will keep voting up on both of those until Monday the 17th.
The 17th, yes.
So it will close around about UK time, say 9 p.m. On Monday the 17th of October. And the season reviews will... the same thing, basically. If we get enough to put into a full show, it will be get them in by the 17th of October as well. Maybe actually the 16th, Sunday the 16th of October, by first thing on Monday the 17th of October.
Unless you're a Hull or a London fan, we haven't had a review from your team yet, so why not step up, represent your side and tell us how you feel like the year's gone. It doesn't have to be as well produced and as articulate as Mark and I so often are. What we want to hear are your thoughts.
We've set the bar at an acceptable level, haven't we?
We've definitely left the bar low enough for you to feel like you could contribute. We want to hear from you. This is what pays us off. This is payback for a year's graft for us, is you guys getting in touch and giving us that 5 minutes so that we can put this show together for everyone. This is the culmination of a season for us. So please do, if you're on the fence about it, spend 5 minutes. We've all got voice recorders and stuff on our phones. You can bang something into an email and send it over to us. Stops me having to get on Twitter and start nagging people. Get in touch and let us know how you think things have gone this season for you. We will be absolutely in your debt if you do.
Yeah, we would definitely. We love that show, don't we? It's our favourite thing.
It's up there with me. It probably just edges out Ask SLP for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, so... We'll record that show on the 18th and we'll put it out on the 19th. It takes a little bit more editing, so it'll be later on the 19th, that show. We could even split it into two and have a Sloppies episode and a season review episode, in terms of how we put it up for the listeners to listen to enjoy. So get those in by Monday. I'll start putting a deadline on the tweets I do for the awards links and that sort of stuff, but don't miss your chance to vote. And people often say to us about how they're grateful that we do the show for free and all that. This is like I say, it's the payback. Vote in the Sloppies, vote in the Dream Team, the new thing, and get your season reviewed in. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, SLP recommends, Mark. I can't remember who. I'm so tired. I can't remember who we decided we'd go first. Like 2 minutes ago we decided.
I know. Is it you or me?
I'll go first because I think we both sort of want to talk about your one a little bit.
Yes, we do.
So I finished a book this week called Circus Maximus by Andrew Zimbalist, who is a fairly well-known sports economist, and it's about hosting major games, the Olympics and the World Cup.
Okay.
So we talked glowingly and positively about how much we enjoy the Olympics, the Paralympics, that sort of thing. This book takes the other view of things and how negative it can sometimes be, or how it's not the positive that often it's portrayed to be what the future looks like for bidding for these kind of things, where it's gone wrong in the past, where there's been good games in the past, and that sort of stuff. Looking at all of that and basically how we can do World Cups and Olympics without ripping off the taxpayers for the gain of private companies, and how we can stop forcing poor countries or developing countries, really, is what we've seen in the recent past, really, with people like Brazil, China, Africa. India with the Commonwealth Games, South Africa, from spending money they don't have for things they don't really need, and how you could organise it a lot better than it is, and stopping the corruption with the voting processes and that sort of stuff. It's a good book. It's quite a short book, actually. It's probably I don't know if it's a cheap book though. I got it bought as a present,
right?
Because people know that I like Andrew Zimbalist. He co-wrote an article that I first read in about 2004, a journal article that led to my undergraduate dissertation.
I see.
So, which was about sports league structures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff. He's never been a musician or a percussionist at any point in his life.
I'm not aware of.
He's not been Zimbalist. He's not been Zimbalist the cymbalist. At any point. That's all I've got. You're very well qualified to say stupid shit.
You have got something else though for us.
I have, yes. Westworld started on Sky Atlantic this week. It's the remake of, well, first of all, it was a Michael Crichton novel, then it became a movie starring Yul Brynner, of all people, in the 70s, and it's now been remade and serialised for television with a plethora of stars, not least amongst them Anthony Hopkins, who's a personal favourite of mine, and it's centred, so far, I don't want to spoiler it too much, but it's centred around what appears to be a very well-advanced animatronic Wild West theme park experience set at some point in the near future. And it's just, I mean, they've obviously spent a lot of money on this. It seems beautifully shot. It's the first episode, for me, was paced brilliantly and just answered, set itself out nicely in terms of the different people and the different players and the political side of what's going to be going on in this story, in terms of Anthony Hopkins kind of being like the Attenborough character in Jurassic Park, the kind of old guy with the idealist who wants to create this thing, and then there's all these other kind of young people who now control the company below him. With a hint of the Malcolm McDowell in Hunger Games. Absolutely, and a hidden hint, a twinge of that sort of fascination with the process. And then the other side of it is the interesting thing is actually that it's laying out the robots as characters that we can feel invested in, and are they starting to become sentient and more human-like to the point where the line is blurred between human and robot and things like that. So that ending, I mean, let's not spoil it, but it opens the whole thing up. It really does. The episode, I feel, set the scene really well. I hope the series... I wasn't quite ready to recommend it, even as much as I loved the first episode as much as you seem to have. Yeah. But I wanted to see where it goes develops a little bit more, but the way it ended, it seemed like it set a platform and then opened it right up to this voyage you're going to go on of what is real. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean... Mark tentatively recommends, and I at the moment wholeheartedly recommends, it might come back and bite me on the backside and you can rub my nose in it. But if you're on the fence about giving Westworld a run out, give the first episode a go. The first episode alone is well worth watching. Oh, yeah. If you decide to buy in and out of it at that point, then so be it. But yeah, SLP recommends Westworld. That's a good point you make. As a standalone TV experience, it was an hour and a half episode. Yeah. We'll take the adverts out, it was about an hour and 10 minutes each. Yeah. It was an enjoyable experience. Yeah. It's not like with some pilot, which obviously a pilot episode sometimes in shows, there's not the budget, it's been made in certain ways, there's cast changes, stuff like that aren't brilliant. This was flawless as a pilot and as an episode one, I thought, in terms of its delivery. And you wanted to talk about the music in it as well, didn't you? Well, there's little Easter eggs, and all I'd say is listen out, because there's little Easter eggs in there in terms of it's obviously set in the old West, so the music is styled of that time. But I would say keep your ears open, because there's a couple of nice little surprises in there. And it happened to me I'll have to talk to you in a minute about the ones I heard. There were two that stood out for me. But yeah, that's a cool little quirk of it as well. Yeah. Okay, right. So, we've covered the grand final. We've given you our recommendations for the week. We've told you that we're going to be taking a week off next week and then coming back
No.
Are we not?
No, no. A week off.
What date is it? No, we're not taking a week off, are we?
Do we want to take a week off then? Shall we change what we said before?
Well, no.
Last year we took a week off because I went on my honeymoon.
Did we?
Yeah.
Are you going on another honeymoon?
I'm not going on another honeymoon, but it did work quite well that week off, actually, didn't it?
This is how on the fly the Super League pod has become.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'll do what you want to do. I'm the passive one in this relationship. I'll be what you want me to be. What are your thoughts, Madge?
No, we'll stick to the plan.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to be back on the 18th, recording for delivery on the 19th of the Sloppies. We're going to be pestering you for season reviews, so get your phones and your dictaphones out and tell us how you think things have gone for your team this season. Have you anything you want to say to the nice people before we say goodbye?
No, just thanks.
Fantastic.
For listening and getting on board, and I hope you don't hate this show too much because there was a lot of me talking about Wigan. But
I think we'll see a dip.
I've done a lot of talking about St Helens and Leeds and Hull FC in the last two years or 3 years.
I think it was unavoidable.
I needed it.
I think it was unavoidable. Absolutely. Okay, so we'll see you next time for the season review and sloppy edition of the Super League pod.
Right, we're going with Get Behind the Cheerleaders.
I think we have to, mate, yeah. There's nothing else this calls, has there? That seems like a million years ago now.
Well, it was 3 hours ago.
You could tell me that was last week. There's nothing, you don't want to call it like, I don't want to just call it the grand final special or something like that. Because the thing is, if we do that, most people would go, oh, fuck that, I'd just be talking about fucking Wigan.
Yeah.
And then, at least when they've downloaded it, then they can realise, oh, fuck that. They're talking about Wigan, but let's get them through the door.